Welcome back to Next Level Rides. Today I'm going to show you how to install some paddles into my G30 BMW. Alright, so one of the projects I have going on today is these. So these factory paddles are quite nice. However, I do have a few that I can change them to. So they're nice, they got rubber on the back. But we need to remove the steering wheel. Well, not the steering wheel, we need to remove the airbag. So on the side of the airbag, let's see if I can show you. See the little divot? So there's one on that side, and if it shows up, there's one right there. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna press the both of those, and then a spring for the airbag on either side. So when you press the screwdriver in from the side, it pushes the one side of the spring out, other side of the spring out, and then the airbag will be able to come out. Now, obviously you want to disconnect the battery. So I already have it all disconnected. And on the 5 Series, there is one second battery right up there. So the G30 actually has 2 batteries. So coming back to the steering wheel, when you end up pressing the one spring in, now I've done this on my E90, you'll end up seeing that the side of the airbag pops out. So what I've done is I've pressed it in there and I've wedged just something just inside so it doesn't end up clipping back while you do the other side. That way you don't get one out, and when you take the other one out, it clips back in. Yeah, it's a pain. All right, so this is what we're working with. So I have a couple of factory, I believe these are out of the G80 BMW M3. So these are the factory paddle shifters with the rubber on the back. So we have the red ones, and then we have, well, the blue ones, and then these are the red ones. So those are pretty nice. Now these were on an A90 Supra, so a Mark V Supra. So they're nice. Carbon, I think they'll look really good, but my only concern is that they don't actually have any grip on the backside. So I'm going to try to figure out which one I like the best. I'm probably going to put these in and then move on to one of these and go from there. Yeah, I think that's first world problems, having however many different paddles to try and having to choose between 3. So the one thing to keep in mind is when you poke through this hole or through this little spot, you're actually going to be poking a little hole into it. So once you're in there, you basically need to poke around until you feel a spring. Oh, there it is. So you can see the side of the airbag popped out. All right, so I'm going to wedge my finger in there. Now, this will be a bit of a nuisance. Okay, so after messing around with it for long enough for the battery to die and the SD card to fill, it's very difficult to actually poke the things. So I did end up getting it. Now, I need a couple of screwdrivers to get the thing out. That's it. So I'm going to set the landmine carefully in the passenger seat, and I'm also trying to figure out what I was poking. Oh yeah, okay. So those of you that want to undertake this endeavor, so I'm going to show you that little hole in the side that I had shown you before. Let me just find it. Okay, so when you start poking the screwdriver through, you're going to be poking all up and around here. So what you actually need to do, so you need to actually get into this little hole. There's a bit of a hole here, so you'll feel the metal. Now you'll see if I had a bigger screwdriver, it wouldn't be a big deal, but you need to get to the right angle to push that spring. That was the big pain in the, so I think I was like up and over here, smacking the side of the airbag down and around. Yeah, that was a nuisance. So a little bit of patience apparently goes a long way. What is this? T15. All right, first and foremost, let's disconnect this connector. Should just be the one screw though. Once you take the screw out, then the whole paddle should come out. Okay, one paddle down. Now, if you have multiple paddles or you plan to swap them back and forth, what I'm probably going to recommend is just make sure these are all tucked out of the way. Because if you take a screwdriver and you go poking again, you don't want to be damaging the wiring. All right, I'm gonna get this one out and then we're gonna go to the bench. There. Alrighty, so I did it off camera just because I fought with it for a little while. So what you're doing here is, for these, you're gonna have a pin, and the pin is gonna be right through this little hole here. So if you hold the paddle upright, you're wanting to push it downwards. So you wanna push it out. You'll see the little plastic pin has a bit of an eccentric bolt or like a lump right there, so it stays in. So let's do one at a time. Now you're gonna wanna take this off carefully because there's gonna be a spring in there. All right, so there's a spring, and all this does is it actuates the two buttons at the same time. So we'll pop that back in. Now when we go to put it in, there's going to be these two little arms here. You're going to want to slide those underneath the existing ones. All right, so those are under there. Get that little bridge thing straight, and then close it. Why does it look like a chunky boy? Looks like a chunky boy on these. All right, okay. You'll know you got it in properly when this slides in. So it'll get the majority of the way, and then you just want to get a little flathead or something to push it in. Okay, it's almost in. There. Finish the other side. Okay, let's test the clicks. They're about the same.
Yep.
Pretty close.
Yep. It's a good click.
Yeah, I'd say. All right, let's
Throw them in?
might as well throw them in. Ooh.
That's a pretty good click.
Ooh, wait till you see the look of them too. See if I can get this in there without dropping it. Oh. Get in. Get in, you whore. Oh. Yes. And this, I think, was just literally somewhere in here. It was just like sitting there. Down. Up. The satisfying clicks. Now, put the landmine back in. All right, and if there's one thing I recommend, and I did it one time and it'll never happen again, double and triple, quadruple, 10-time check that this is connected. Because if there's a loose connection, the last thing you need is your car thinking that it was involved in an accident and have an airbag go off in your face. And for reinstallation, I'm sure it's just going to be the same as an E90. Get it centered. That's a look. Here, I'm gonna jump out. I'll grab the camera and then I'll show you, or you jump in.
Yeah, that's the look. It's nice how they're kind of curved into you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know if they stick up here. Let me see some. But it's equal because there's two buttons because we're using the factory stuff. Whether you press it at the top or in the middle or at the bottom, they're gonna actuate. Okay, so it gives you a good idea as to how easy, not easy it can end up being. Play with it a little bit to push in those springs so that the airbag can actually come out. But of course, after you get it once, the next time is super simple. So that's all for today. Feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.